A beautiful day in Dallas, Texas. We're this afternoon at the American Airlines Center. Two of the NBA's best in what's become pretty much a warm-up for the upcoming NBA playoffs. It's the Mavericks and the Spurs right now.
Right now. Let's give these men a hand. Right now. Show them what we play. Right now. You know it's time to make a stand.
Welcome to NBA Sunday, presented by Hertz. Another sellout crowd at the American Airlines Center. One of the best atmospheres in all of professional sports, and it'll be filled to capacity again as we wind down the regular season. As you look at the Western Conference standings, San Antonio still with something to play for. Mathematically, still a shot at the number 2 seed, but unlikely. Phoenix just needs one win in their last couple of games. Meanwhile, Dallas has the best record in the league and home court advantage all sewn up. Good afternoon, everyone. With Mark Jackson, Mike Green with you. Michelle Tafoya will join us shortly. It's one of the best rivalries, maybe the best in the NBA, but the intensity not what you would expect. Maybe in a month from now. But these teams with different agendas today now, the way the season has gone, Mark. What do they need to do today?
Well, if you're the San Antonio Spurs and Greg Popovich, you still have hope as far as catching Phoenix. So you want to finish out the season and continue to play solid. If you're Avery Johnson and Dallas Mavericks, you've done everything you had to do throughout the course of the season. Get quality minutes for your good guys, get them up, put them on the bench, stay healthy, and be ready for the playoffs.
Our starting lineups brought to you by Taco Bell. First for the visitors, Francisco Elson starting at center back after missing a game with a wrist injury. Tim Duncan and the ever-present Bruce Bowen. Michael Finley, the former Mav, getting another start. And all-star Tony Parker for Greg Popovich and the Spurs. And for the Dallas Mavericks, Sagana John starting in place of the injured Eric Gambier. MVP candidate Nowitzki, and the all-star Josh Howard with Devin George, the former Laker, and Jason Terry, who's playing some terrific basketball. As right now we send it over to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Mike, Avery Johnson was not happy with his team's 15-point loss to Utah on Friday. He wants his team to reclaim their momentum today, but he's not going to do it at the expense of overextending them. He said no one will play over 26 minutes for the Mavericks today. As for the Spurs, as you both said, they still have a shot at the number 2 seed in the West. Greg Popovich said he wants to allow his team to pursue that position. He said, quote, "The goal of winning an NBA championship is more fun than anything these guys can do individually." And, Mike, that includes resting.
And that's what we've seen from both teams recently, more so, of course, with the Dallas Mavericks. But the normal starting 5 out there as we're underway here in a place where the Mavericks are 35-5. They have been incredible here at home despite that loss the other night. And remember, their players rested. Duncan, first shot of the game won't go, and Jason Terry, the rebound.
Like, the beautiful thing about both of these teams, there's no cruise control in them. As far as the coaching staff, as far as the players, you know they're going to bring it night in and night out. Whoever steps on the floor is going to be a competitive battle.
Well, you mentioned the coaching staff as Nowitzki's first shot of the day goes down. Greg Popovich and Avery Johnson, the 2 head coaches, 2 of the most demanding coaches in the league, and 2 of the closest friends in the play. Popovich won a championship with him during his career in San Antonio. Parker knocks down his first shot.
The thing I love most about coaches, understand this isn't like that. Basketball, have fun with it, and they're great teachers.
And as you see all the time in games, you can talk about, all right, it doesn't mean a heck of a lot in terms of the standings or the long picture. As Josh Howard's first shot will go. And it's a rival that you may see in the playoffs. You kind of pick it up a bit.
What we do is the natural instincts of these players and this coaching staff. They understand, they get pumped up about it also. This is a great time of year.
2 teams that know each other very well from their playoff history, and again, because their coaches know what each other runs very well. Nowitzki on Duncan. Duncan, couple of turnaround, shot won't go, rebound Josh. Spurs, meanwhile, as usual, terrific road team. They're 27-12 as Bowen comes up with a steal. Here comes Parker in his second All-Star season. Duncan, nice fake. And gets inside, the lefty layup.
Just so fundamentally sound. You sell the jump shot with the pump fake, get Nowitzki in the air, all of a sudden explode to the basket and finish with the opposite hand.
Elson is on Nowitzki down the other end. Duncan is guarding Josh. And Bruce Bowen on Josh Howard. That's perhaps the most fun matchup to watch. Here's Sagana Jock. Way off the mark, and Finley, the former Mav, the rebound. Now San Antonio watched all the credit, and deservedly so, go to Phoenix and Dallas all season. They were the two best teams in the NBA, as Duncan is fouled on the pass. And Greg Popovich would be the first one to tell you they deserve all the credit. San Antonio has suddenly gone 25-3 as you see this pretty move from Duncan.
Selling the shot and then putting it on the floor and finishing in traffic.
Effortless for Duncan, but they're 25-3 in their last 28 games. They've won 6 in a row, 12 of 13. They are playing just great basketball. Even Popovich yesterday saying we're playing really well, and you don't hear that from demanding coaches often.
No, you don't, but this is an experienced basketball team. The mentality has been there and done that. They like to be under the radar, have proven guys. They know that come playoff time, Michael Finley playing aggressive and looking for his own shot. He completes.
Well, after Finley, who had some great years here in Dallas, gives San Antonio a 6-4 lead. Average calls a 22nd timeout. Early minutes in Dallas between the two top teams from Texas. After a quick timeout, Dallas will inbound. And as Michelle Boyer, Avery Johnson not happy. They lost the other night at home to Utah. And it's tough to stay focused and stay intense. And Avery Johnson doesn't want to play his big guys a lot of minutes. But at the same time, he won't stand for a lackluster effort as Howard's shot won't go.
And the reason why is because he's looking at the big picture. He's saying, well, as Howard gets fouled chasing down a loose ball by Bowen, but he's saying, hey, in order for us to win this whole thing, I've been there. I understand what it takes. I know that you guys are players. We've had tremendous success, but we have not done anything. So he is staying on top of his basketball team.
It has been just a special regular season for the Mavs, but you ask any coach, any player, and most of their fans, and anything shy of a championship, and it would be a disappointing season, despite the fact that they've won 65 games already. Nowitzki couldn't finish, gets his own rebound, and then is fouled as Elson grabbed him.
And to that, Mike, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it being a disappointing season if they do not win a championship. I understand that mentality, but they have two other teams in the Western Conference that are great basketball teams in San Antonio and Phoenix. It's no disgrace and no embarrassment to lose to those teams. At the same time, if you are the Dallas Mavericks, you have one thing in mind, that is winning it all.
And that's the mindset that Johnson has had, wants his team to have. Joe Crawford talking with the scorers table now. Something to do with the shot, which is reset to 14 after the foul. So now they reset it. If you look what they've done this year, franchise record 65 wins. They've had 3 winning streaks of 12 or more. First team in NBA history to do that. Nowitzki didn't finish. He thought he was fouled by Elson, and here come the Spurs. Parker. Tough shot to Parker, an air ball, and Howard tips to the jump. Josh Howard. And a long rebound to Bowen. This is the 4th meeting of the season between the two. The road team has won the previous 3. Dallas winning twice in San Antonio, and the Spurs beating the Mavs here in Dallas.
That's why when I look at the Western Conference playoff picture, it does not matter whether you're Phoenix, Dallas, San Antonio. These are great teams at home and on the road.
Parker falls down after the miss, but Elson right there to put it in. And they both won on each other's home floor last season during that just unbelievable 7-game playoff series in the Western Conference semis. Dallas won Game 7 in overtime to advance to their first finals. And knocks it down. And what a big player he'll be, Mark, for this team.
He's a crucial guy for this team. He can stretch the defense, obviously, with his range, knocking down jumps, but more importantly, on the defensive end for that team. He is the guy that is a lockdown defender that can guard either guy on multiple positions, inside or out.
Duncan stripped. Nice play by Nowitzki, and George picks it up. George, of course, winning championships with the Lakers, but now here in his first year in Dallas, it's been an injury-prone year at times with a knee problem. Jock can't get it, goes up again, and Elson picks up his second foul.
And you see what the Dallas Mavericks are doing, putting Tim Duncan in pick-and-roll situations. That time, Terry finding Jop, rolling to the basket off the solid screen. Now, if you're Jop, you have to finish that play, attack the basket.
And there's Sagana Jop. You see his numbers, only 18 minutes a game, yet he averages almost a block and a half. He is a good shot blocker. Jop is only 25 years old, his 6th year in the NBA, and their two-headed center, Jop and Eric Dampier, is out with a shoulder injury. a very big part of this team's improvement defensively.
They did a great job of finding two guys since there was no one guy available that can do the job. They found two guys that'll be a two-headed center that was able to complement one another extremely well and really do a great job holding down the fort in the paint for this team.
Job started his career in Cleveland, but injuries and weight problems slowed him down. Signed a free agent deal last season and was a very nice pickup for the Dallas Mavericks. Mavericks by 1. Devin Harrison for the first time. Again, Avery Johnson doesn't want to play anybody more than 26 minutes, as we spoke of earlier.
And with that mindset of Avery Johnson, when you make wholesale changes with guys coming in off of the bench, you let them know, I expect the same type of energy and effort from you when you step on the floor in minimal minutes.
Nowitzki, guarded by Robert Horry, who's in for the first time. Nice feed inside Harris. Nowitzki to spin, won't go, and got the offensive rebound. He's a good offensive rebounder. Shooting career numbers from the field, from three-point range, from free throw shooting. Nowitzki, the leading candidate, along with Steve Nash, for the MVP.
Oh, he's my MVP. And you talked to Greg Popovich like we did yesterday. He said, hey, this guy is the toughest matchup in all of basketball. That time, Robert Horry facing him, his ability to knock down the jump shot, give him man space, and you are toast.
And there's Horry. Horry's had some injury problems in recent weeks. Missed a bunch of games with an abdominal injury. But he can't wait for the playoffs. That's what he, of course, is known for. Howard looking. Ball deflected, another steal for Bowen. And here comes Parker. Tony Parker spinning. Nice. And George fouls Finley. And Michael Finley will go to the line. And we'll have a timeout.
Good foul, not giving up an easy deuce. Just solid defense by Devin George, forcing Finley to go to the line.
Dirk Nowitzki shooting early. The Dallas Mavericks with a franchise record 65 victories. Right now they lead by 1. San Antonio Spurs 58-21. Hard to believe you could say they're under the radar with a record like that, but they weren't playing usual Spur basketball earlier this season. Tony Parker says they were okay with that.
The whole season we never panicked. You know, we knew that we were going to pick it up, and it comes from Pop, you know, and the confidence. But the confidence that we had on the team too, and you can take example like the Lakers too. You know, when they won 3 championships in a row, you know, during the championships season, they never. I don't think they ever been the best record, you know, and so you just have to. Like we had old guys in my team, you know, and so a lot of veterans, and so I have to save them for the playoffs.
Well, as usual with the Spurs, post All-Star break, that's when they play their best ball. An incredible record for them.
When you talk about Popovich, he said, hey, David Robinson's not walking through this door. George Gervin is not walking through this door. Since the All-Star break, 23-3, got it done with his players, believing in his players. When other coaches or general managers might have been looking to make trades, he trusted his guys, and his faith in them has been rewarded.
And Parker and Popovich have really grown together the last couple of years. Of course, Duncan has been with Popovich's entire career and knows what to expect from him every night. And that's the thing about Duncan, his continued and consistent excellence night after night. You almost take him for granted.
Well, when you have a true superstar that really gets it, as far as a basketball player, as a person, everybody else falls into place. He, in my opinion, is the greatest power forward to ever play the game. When you take a look at the entire package, he's a joy to watch.
Yeah, he's just made the complete difference in this Spurs franchise. 5 on the shot clock. Howard shot, knocks it down. Just to correct Tony Parker, the Lakers in one of those championships of 2000, they actually did have the best record.
I don't think Tony. I think Tony was wavering a little bit because in between he said, I did catch Mark, so I have to get his back.
Good man. He needs to brush up a little on his NBA history as Duncan banks it in, and that bank shot we've seen a lot of this year. Last year, Duncan was not healthy. He had that plantar fasciitis in the foot, although he never used it as an excuse. There was no question he wasn't 100%. I don't want to hear that, but that was definitely the case. Howard to the basket. Tough shot. Somebody got a piece of it. Job gets the rebound and gets fouled on the follow.
Well, a great job by designer Job. Battling underneath for the loose ball time and time again, trying to finish at the rim, but creating havoc, drawing the contact and going to the line once again.
You see Jop again. We talked about his career earlier with the Cavaliers. He'll get some extra minutes. Dampier's shoulder not expected to keep him out of postseason games, but with these games meaningless for the Dallas Mavericks, not taking a chance. Jop didn't start a heck of a lot his first couple of years in the league. Got a chance last year, and now a little bit as a spot starter this year.
When you bring up the point about Duncan, I think guys around the league was well aware that he was nowhere near 100% because you don't drop off like that. He did not have the same explosion that he had throughout the course of his career, but he has certainly gotten it back.
And then Jop a foul down the other end on Duncan, and Duncan will go to the line.
Just so fundamentally sound. That time realizing that Jop was on his back, he seals him, gives a target, catches the basketball, creates the contact, and goes to the line. Just a simple game of basketball that Tim Duncan has mastered.
And there's Duncan at the free throw line. And of course, this is the big story for San Antonio. And Duncan, you see what he's been able to accomplish. And he's the only player on the Spurs roster who is a top 10 pick. And the reason is, since he's been there, they're so good. They're never in the lottery. They're always in the playoffs, often going deep in the playoffs with 3 championships. So it's hard to get a top pick, yet you have to credit the Spurs front office, R.C. Buford and Popovich, for drafting so well late first round, sometimes second round picks like Ginobili.
Well, it's a gift and a curse. He's made sure that they have no longer had a lottery pick, but it's because of Tim Duncan and his ability to sustain it at such a high level.
Harris, nice move. Devin Harris, backer won't go. And Duncan the rebound. Mentioned Ginobili, who's in the game, now coming off the bench. Parker strong to the basket. Pretty shot with the left hand.
Just a simple play, stop on offensive end. Duncan gets the big outlet to Tony Parker to beat the defense down the floor.
Stackhouse, another 6-man candidate, stripped by Duncan. Or, excuse me, Ori. Good help defense. Ginobili on the pull-up. Andrew Ginobili averaging a career-high 16.5 per game. And now coming off the bench.
When you take a look at the San Antonio Spurs and their body language, the way that they've come out in this basketball game, they've come to play this afternoon. And this is a team that's going to be a tough out for anyone to play.
Howard's shot won't go. Duncan holds on tight with both hands. Parker goes at Harris. Stripped by Nowitzki. Nowitzki doing a good job on the help defense. He's come a long way defensively, according to Avery Johnson. On the pull-up. And Ginobili and Bowen collide. It's Mavericks ball. So the Mavs will inbound. Stackhouse and Ginobili, to have guys like that come off the bench. Veterans who can score, who bring energy. I mean, what a huge boost. Ginobili not having a problem coming off the bench. He started early this season. Stackhouse as well. And there you see Stackhouse. Of course, it's Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. He writes it to honor him on his sneaker, and that's why he's always worn number 42.
Well, excellent gesture by Jerry Stackhouse, appreciating what Jackie Robinson not just meant to baseball, but to all of Americans, and just a great job of saluting.
Stackhouse. He had Parker all over him and still knocked it down. Such an explosive scorer. He'd prefer to start, but he understands his role. And not happy about the non-call that time. And he brings Dallas back within 4 as San Antonio will call a timeout.
Stackhouse is saying, hey, they showed the shoe. They showed Jackie Robinson, I have to make this shot. Contested or not. Stackhouse knocking down the tough jet.
NBA Sunday on ABC, presented by Hertz. Discover the many reasons why we're Hertz and they're not. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And Toyota, moving forward.
Back in Dallas, Texas at the American Airlines Center. As we mentioned, Major League Baseball today having Jackie Robinson Day as the San Antonio Spurs play the Dallas Mavericks. Number 42, and that's why he wears it. Jerry Stackhouse to honor Jackie Robinson, somebody that means quite a bit to Mr. Stackhouse.
I just think that what he was able to, bear and go through, is the reason why, black athletes and minority athletes are able to be in the position that we are today. I mean, I think it's really, you know, it was in baseball, but I mean, it really transcended all sports. And I think, you know, we all should, you know, pay homage to a guy like that.
And just a class act by Jerry Stackhouse saluting Jackie Robinson. And I give credit to baseball, too, the guys that are not minority players. They realize the importance of Jackie Robinson, and this is all because of Jackie Robinson. He should be saluted.
And keep a lot of the young players who don't remember really the impact, but certainly will remember, and it's always to hear the stories and the impact that he had. As we go to Michelle.
Well, one sidebar on that story is that Jerry Stackhouse asked the NBA if he could wear Robinson on his jersey rather than Stackhouse today, just replacing names. But, you know, the NBA has a lot of rules about those kind of things. They didn't want him to do that. They didn't want him to be the only one to do it. They didn't know how to manage it so that everyone would be doing it. So they denied that request. But that's just how far Stackhouse's admiration goes, Mike.
All right, Michelle. Well, I think the Knicks play later today. Nate Robbins. That's good. So Parker will go to the line. Devin Harris picks up his first. 23-16. San Antonio by 7. There's Jason Terry, who has been on a terrific streak second half of the season. Boys, he played well. Stackhouse knocks down another shot. Easton offense off the bench. He's 2 for 2.
And you talk about the similarities of both teams. When you have guys like Ginobili and Finley and Stackhouse understands his role. His role is to come onto the court and have an impact on the offensive end. Look to be aggressive and take the pressure off of the other home run hitters in the lineup.
You see the bench has come on. Parker, the only starter out now for San Antonio. Fabricio Alberto, Ginobili, Brent Barry, and Robert Horry out there. Shot clock down to 7. Parker, that floater. Not that time. And Austin Crozier just came in. Stackhouse. Nice soft shooter's touch. He's 3 for 3.
Mike, I think I'm going to go in the back and put Jackie Robinson on my shoe. Stackhouse is getting it done right now.
He is inspired by the great Jackie Robinson. Horry inside. Oh, blocked by Jock. Alberto right there for the follow, negating what was a fantastic block from Sagana Jock.
That's why this would be a great matchup come playoff time. Both teams solid on the defensive end. They don't give up anything easy, and they don't beat themselves.
Well, Greg Popovich said Dallas, the key for them, they're so balanced at both ends of the floor now. As Jason Terry able to knock it down for his first field goal. Of course, the Spurs have always been one of the best, if not the best. Brent Barry's three-pointer won't go. Ball tipped by Parker and picked up by Terry. But it's the Mavericks' improvement defensively over the past several years that have put them in the upper echelon of the league.
And that's been the best part of the job that Avery Johnson has done, is convince this team that they have to get it done on the defensive end if they are to win a championship, and they have responded.
Barry, that's a 3. He's 3rd in the NBA in three-point percentage. Put San Antonio back up by 6. Barry recently missed about 4 games because of the back injury. He's had some terrific stretches this year.
He's a pure shooter. He's a guy that you cannot give any airspace to because you have to close out and contest. He is dangerous around that three-point line.
Stackhouse with Ginobili on him. Shot clock at 3. Terry. Ginobili, there's about a little over a 2-second difference. Shot clock, game clock, so the Spurs will wind it down.
Smart play by Tony Parker, pulling it out, waiting to play one-on-one basketball, but trying to eat away at the clock.
Parker makes his move, goes right at Jock. Up shot won't go. Harris the rebound. Got some time. Stackhouse from half court. Canada goes. And just short. And that will end the first period. As these two teams wind down the regular season, this presentation of NBA Sunday presented by Hertz will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This is ABC Sports, home of the Second quarter is set to begin. Spurs lead the Mavericks 28-22. Mavericks already have the best record sewn up, home court crowd, but Avery Johnson not happy after that first quarter.
28 points in the quarter for them is too much. 2 minutes, not good.
Tough at transition, that's killing us.
Not good.
That second voice was assistant Del Harris, but he hangs his hat on his defense. Avery Johnson did so as a player. And even though this game, again, a meaningless game standing-wise, he's not happy.
Well, he's looking at the big picture. You develop bad habits by surrendering. The Spurs able to shoot 55% from the field, have 11 fast break points, and 28 points for the quarter. Avery Johnson understands that that's not going to get it done.
Jason Terry gets it done on that possession. Terry's second field goal. And he cut it to 4.
The beautiful thing about that, listen to that attitude, that approach becomes contagious. So all of a sudden, the guys in uniform take that same type of mentality, and it's a carryover effect on the floor.
They could probably predict what he's going to say as they're walking through the huddle after the first quarter. They know they're going to hear it when they give up 28 in the first.
And you're probably thinking as a player, come on, coach. This is, we've done all that we had to do. This is meaningless. But he is drilling it to them that it's the big picture that he's all about. It's not about a Sunday afternoon playing the Spurs. It's about chasing down that ultimate goal, which is the championship.
Jot with his second block. Ginobili way off, and Howard the rebound. Harris looking to push. Harris goes right at Jock Vaughn. Great layup, count it, and a foul. Devin Harris, one of the quickest players in the league, with a chance for a three-point play.
That's not fair. That's full steam ahead. The energy of Jock keeping the ball alive, block shots, rebounding. He has had an impact on this game. And then Devin Harris says, excuse me, Jock Vaughn, I'm going to go to the opposite side and finish with the left. Gets the basket and the foul.
And Harris, he in the starting lineup in and out this season. He can start today, though, as he misses the free throw. He's the X factor maybe for this team. When he plays very well, they're almost unbeatable.
Well, his energy, he's the guy that can create offense for other guys. You can put him in a pick and roll situation. Talk to Mark Cuban. He feels that he is arguably the best defensive point guard in all of basketball. He certainly has a presence on the floor and makes this team tough to beat when he's playing well.
Boy, nice ball movement there for the Spurs. Robert Horry's known as a shooter, but he does so many intangible things well, and that was a pretty assist. Barry now on Terry. Harris, nice feed. Jock. Horry may have gotten a piece of it. Robert Horry has always been an underrated defensive player.
Well, you look and you say, why does this guy win so many championships? It's because he gets it done as Jock Vaughn knocks down the jump shot. Robert Horry doesn't do anything wrong on the basketball floor. Doesn't waste any energy at all. And that time coming from the weak side, making the play and keeping the ball alive.
And the Spurs with a 6-point lead. Harris penetrates again, sets up Jot, and Alberto just grabs his arm. And Sagana Jot, who's had a very active first half, will shoot 2 more.
And I'm just on the job. I'm thinking, where is Eric Dampier? This is way too many minutes for me, but he's certainly doing his job for Avery Johnson and the Dallas Mavericks, looking to finish underneath and then changing shots on the other end. And on the glass, he has been a presence.
So just over 2 minutes gone by in the second. Again for Dallas. If the Mavericks win today, that would give them 66 victories. That would tie them for the 10th best record in NBA history. And it would mean, now they already have their back-to-back 60-win seasons. You remember what this team was like back in the 90s. Sometimes it would take them 3 seasons to equal 60 wins. Now they get it in back-to-back years. It's an amazing turnaround. Mark Cuban deserves a lot of the credit for turning this franchise around. And he now is one of those we talked earlier. The championship is all they think about. It wasn't that long ago where they were down at the bottom of the league.
And they certainly have turned things around here, and they are arguably the premier organization in the entire league, and Mark Cuban deserves a lot of credit. Somebody asked me before the game, hey, where does this Mavericks team stack up against the teams of the 90s or the 80s? It doesn't matter. In 2007, over the course of a regular season, they are the best team in basketball. All they have to do is to be the best team in 2007.
Was Mark Cuban the one who asked you that?
No.
Ginobili knocks down the shot. Ginobili with 4 points. And lead back to 6. And this is another sellout here. 234th consecutive sellout as Nowitzki's shot misses. Top of the backboard's inbounds. And it really is just one of the best atmospheres in all of pro sports.
You look at the crowd behind the pregame guys, the energy, the passion. They love their Mavs, and this is a great place to play.
Pretty shot from Ginobili. Harris again, coast to coast. Oh, so quick is Devin Harris.
And Jacques Vaughn is probably saying, can somebody get back and help me defensively?
Vaughn's a good defensive player, but Harris just too quick on a couple of possessions.
It's very similar to Leandro Barbosa, the Phoenix Suns. One-on-one fast break opportunities. You have to stop them collectively as a team getting back in conversion.
Brent Barry, meanwhile, good drive to the basket, draws the foul. He'll shoot two, as we have another timeout.
I wish I was this fast. This is not fair. I truly wish I was this fast. Jacques Vaughn, I feel sorry for you.
Thanks for watching ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Back in Dallas, Texas. 8:34 remaining in the second. Spurs and the Mavs, 6-point game right now as we wind down the regular season. So, regular season awards. Let's get some of the picks from our Mark Jackson on the ballots.
Oh, you talk about Sixth Man of the Year award, and I think it's a no-brainer. Leandro Barbosa and the stamp that he puts on a basketball game when he enters for the Phoenix Suns. He is the runaway guy. Although there were some guys in discussion, Ginobili, Jerry Stackhouse, but Leandro Barbosa certainly deserves this award. He gets the choice. As far as most improved in the league, Kevin Martin. Sacramento Kings all of a sudden blossom into a true star. The collapse in Sacramento has nothing to do with Kevin Martin. Certainly the most improved player in the league.
And for both awards, we'll have more of your awards throughout the day. A lot of candidates for both of those two. They weren't easy. I agree with you on Barbosa and Martin, but Stackhouse certainly, he's the epitome of a sixth man. Always comes off the bench and brings that toughness to a team.
And a tough choice for me because Golden State has a bright young star of the future in Monte Ellis, who certainly was in the discussion as far as most improvement. He is a guy his future's awfully bright.
Ginobili shot won't go. Excellent defense by the Mavericks. Here's Harris again. Draws the foul, puts it in. Oh, Devin Harris putting on a show here in the first half. Just explosive to the basket.
The ability to push the basketball down the floor and get the defense at its heels. You have to run back and be in position. When you don't, you pay the price. Quickness, his ability to get from end to end, puts pressure on the defense, takes the hit again, and a possible three-point play.
And Harris finishes that. Harris in just his third year in the league. He's only 24, from Milwaukee, played his college ball at Wisconsin. Was a high draft pick, 5th overall back in 2004. And as Brent Barry, his shot won't go. And he wasn't selected by Dallas. Washington picked him, then traded him along with Stackhouse for Antoine Jamison, a deal that worked out very well for both teams.
Well, the good thing with Devin Harris, you want him to push the ball up the floor because even if there's nothing available, as he knocks down another shot off the pick and roll, even if there's nothing available, you can pull it back out and run offense. But he is putting pressure on the defense.
And Harris, he was lit into by Avery Johnson the other night in that loss. Johnson very tough on his young point guard. Duncan shot won't go. Crozier puts it into the hands of Speedy Gonzalez here. Harris throws it back out to Crozier. Nowitzki just so methodically gets his shot. Unbelievable.
It's just a stroll in the park. Let's just excuse me while I fade away. That's not fair. It's not fair, but it all starts with the ball pressure, pushing the ball up the floor by Devin Harris. Defense collapse, and now Dirk Nowitzki has the defense running at it.
And they get their first standing ovation of the afternoon, a 7-0 run. It's the final home game in the regular season for Dallas. Vaughn to Ginobili. Ginobili foul as Nowitzki reached in.
But when you can knock down the jump shot, the defense is at your mercy. And the ball fake, the use of the ball fake, not being taught to youngsters around this one. Pay attention to Dirk Nowitzki. Sells the shot, gets Elson in the air, and then steps into a rhythm jump shot.
You see his numbers. We'll get to whether or not he's your MVP candidate later. I know you mentioned it earlier. Some may have missed it, so we'll wait as we look at our NBA calendar, winding down the regular season. T-Wolves and Nuggets. Coverage begins at 9. Nuggets have secured that 6th seed in the West. And then ABC and ESPN, the playoff coverage begins this Saturday. TNT playoff coverage begins this Sunday. You just can't wait for the postseason. So many great matchups, not just with the elite teams, but some first-round matchups could be very, very interesting, including Dallas if they wind up playing Golden State, a team that plays them very well. Nowitzki again. 8 points for Nowitzki. They're all even at 39.
You're talking about a 7-foot pure shooter coming off of a down screen, knocking down the jump shot. That's awfully tough to guard.
Ginobili out. Bruce Bowen. Bowen off the dribble. And that's something he has added to his game. Avery Johnson, perhaps not seeing that very often.
I think Avery Johnson wanted a traveling violation. Bruce Bowen looked at him like, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
Nowitzki, this time against Duncan. Duncan having another great year defensively.
As usual, he is in the discussion as far as defensive player of the year. His presence on the defensive end changes so many shots. Just a complete player.
Here's Howard. Josh Howard to the basket. Excellent defense down the other end. Jason Terry's pressure defense helping force that turnover. And Popovich wants a timeout. Popovich showing to Bruce Bowen. He wasn't up. The Mavericks very much alive here in Dallas. It's all even.
On ABC, brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, driven to thrill.
Back in Dallas, or just past the midway point of the second. Mavs and Spurs tied at 41. Devin Harris has been the spark. 9 points in 12 minutes coming off the bench.
And he's done it with his incredible speed and quickness. Able to change speeds, change direction. Take a look here. Off of a made shot. If you're Jacques Vaughn, no sense in moonwalking. Too much airspace. You have to close the gap. You can't allow him to make the decision. Explodes by him. And then pushing the basketball. Talk about explosiveness, the speed, finishing in traffic. Mike, if I had this type of speed, I would not be your partner.
I'm just glad you're not fast.
I would still be playing. That's a crime to be that fast.
He has been superb as we go to Michelle.
Well, and Greg Popovich cited him directly in his last time out. He said, they are running it down our throats in transition. We've got to get back. That's how they got back into this game. And Del Harris on the Dallas bench had urged his team to do that. Turnovers, a big part of it too, Mike.
Fourth, and Terry converts down the other end. And Dallas now with a 2-point lead. Jason Terry showing his nickname, the Jet. Well, if he's the Jet, what's Harris for crying out loud?
I wish I had a name. That's just incredible. We're talking about, you sense that the Mavericks have the idea that they want to run off of makes and misses. They're putting so much pressure on the Spurs defense, and what the Spurs are not doing, you have to run back as a unit and stop the basketball and begin to communicate and talk. They're not doing it, and they're paying the price because the Mavericks are not stopping.
So, an 11-point turnaround. Dallas was trailing by 8, now with a 3-point lead. Crozier guarding Duncan. Back clock at 5. Duncan now goes to work. That shot won't go. Nowitzki lost it out of bounds. They say last touch by Elson.
And good defense by Austin Crozier. What you want to do is stay in front of Tim Duncan and contest the shot. You live with the results, but you want to be solid defensively.
That's like Austin Crozier, Devin George, Greg Buckner, all new faces on the mat. They changed their bench a little bit this year. Stackhouse puts it in. He's one change they didn't have to make. And now Dallas with their largest lead of the first half.
Off the weak side action, the defense is paying attention to Dirk Nowitzki with the ball in his hands. The down screen from Stackhouse, able to get open and knock down a rhythm jump shot.
Parker took his eye off it. 2-on-1 Terry. Oh, nice feed. And the Mavericks just rolling here in the second quarter.
And this is why they're the best team in basketball. They had every right to lay down and just enjoy what they've done all season long. But they are too good, and they have their eyes on the prize. They certainly have come ready to play this afternoon.
An 18-4 run. Remember, this is a meaningless game. Duncan inside. Oh, Duncan comes right back. Well, you said at the top, granted, the game doesn't mean a heck of a lot, even though the Spurs still have that shot at the 2 seed. But with the rivalry between the two, once you get on the floor, every player said the same thing.
And it's awfully tough to go through the motions. When you played an entire season playing great basketball, you cannot afford to look to turn it on and off. And the Mavericks certainly have their foot on the gas pedal.
Stockhouse. Just over 3.5 remaining. Duncan takes his time. Foul before the shot. Not the penalty yet. That'll be the 14th foul. As Crozier picks up his second.
Just pushing the basketball, solid play, behind the back pass from Terry, and Howard running the trail on the play, finishing. And then Duncan says, enough is enough. I got to put on a grown man move, attacking the rim and finishing over Nowitzki and Crozier.
Right back to Duncan. Jop is back in. Jop with a couple of nice block shots. Shot clock winding down. Philly's going to have to put it up. One on the shot clock. Has to force it up. Excellent defense from the Mavericks again. As Jop. Dangerous pass. But it works out. Howard for three. Stackhouse had it knocked out of his hands. Tony Parker puts it in. Parker's second best field goal percentage amongst guards in the NBA behind Steve Nash. I think I said something about there won't be so much intensity earlier in today's game.
I tell you what, if I'm a coach around the league, I sit my team down and force them to watch this game. When you talk about the way that these two teams go about their business on both ends of the floor, it is a joy to watch.
Both teams shooting 51% from the field despite some very tough defense. Parker finding his open spot. Howard the rebounder. Howard, one of the best rebounders at his position in the league. Too much dribbling that time. Elson picks it up. Another big guy who can handle the ball. Parker inside. Hard foul. Stackhouse with sportsmanship to help out Parker. He'll go to the line. And we'll go to commercial. 2:11 left, second quarter. Pretty entertaining for a meaningless game between a couple of old friends. Dallas Mavericks care about the community. Mavs held their third annual Tux and Tennies Gala, raising over $500,000 for the Dallas Mavericks Foundation to assist young people through programs stressing education and good health. Players, coaches, and owner Mark Cuban all in attendance during the event. An awards presentation, auctions. NBA cares continuing a tradition of basketball and service to the community. The Mavericks have been superb. Dirk Nowitzki saw walk out there. He's had a lot of help here this afternoon. And that's what made the Mavericks so good this year. The best NBA, much as he's been an MVP. They are just so deep. And a quarter like this shows you how good they can be.
Well, they complement one another so well. They get it on the defensive end. Obviously, have a history of being able to score, but they really battle and compete on the defensive end, what makes them a danger.
And you see two of the best point guards. Both obviously can score. Both excellent shooters. Parker, it's something he's worked on last couple of years. Last year he was brilliant from the field, and doing it again this year over 50%.
And the thing with both guys, you can trust them with the basketball in their hands. They're high percentage shooters from the field. They get quality shots, and they put so much pressure on the defense.
We're at the 2-minute mark of the first half, and Dirk Nowitzki hits another shot. 6 for 12 from the field.
That's an easy shot without even putting the ball on the floor, but because of his ability to knock down the jump shot, you have to respect it. Also can put the ball on the floor, so Elson is a tough matchup, gives him a little bit of airspace, and is an easy look for Nowitzki.
Parker to Duncan, and foul called. Crowd boos Joe Crawford. He's heard a few of those during the course of his 31-year career as an NBA ref.
I predicted that's not going to be the last time that Joe Crawford is booed. I don't think he cares neither.
One of the best in the business for a long time. He's worked 38 NBA Finals games. You know, earlier I said Greg Popovich was saying to Bruce Bowen, look at me, look at me. I think he may have been saying it to Crawford. He wasn't happy about a call. As Duncan misses the free throw. Now, Duncan's free throw shooting, of course, is a big topic. This year he's at 64%. But as a team, they're much better. In fact, it's the highest free throw percentage for a Spurs team in 14 years. 6 players, not Duncan, are averaging career highs from the line.
and that's a good thing. But the bottom line for the Spurs, Tim Duncan is going to have to knock down foul shots because he's going to be the one with the ball in his hands, and they're going to force him to go to the line.
Dallas by 4. Harris. Ball deflected, so still Mavs ball, 14 on the shot clock.
And a good read by Devin Harris. Once again, putting him in a pick and roll play, finding guys off of the penetration.
Devin Harris, Jerry Stackhouse, Sagana Diop, Nowitzki, and Greg Buckner out there for Mavericks now.
Right now, the Spurs go in zone because of the trouble that they have keeping Devin Harris in front of them. They choose to go zone.
That almost went in. Tough shot. Parker comes the other way. Ginobili taken out of the starting lineup, and the team has just zoomed with him coming off the bench. What a difference he's made. Bowen for 3. In and out. Duncan, offensive rebound. Back out. Bowen for 3 again. That's good.
Keeping the ball alive, giving his guys an extra possession. Tim Duncan once again finding a guy on the perimeter, giving Bowen a second shot, and he's not going to miss 2 in a row from the same spot quite often.
1 year led the league in three-point field goal percentage. Harris spinning inside. Banker won't go. Rebound Nelson. A lot of bodies all over the floor. Parker stripped but foul by Buckner. Where Tony Parker goes with such confidence to the basket. A little shaken up on that.
You get the sense that Avery Johnson said to Devin Harris, that's what I want you to do in fast break opportunities. Tony Parker, a master at pushing the basketball, and that time taking it to the body of the defender, getting the contact.
Tony Parker will go to the line. Parker, when he first started, Greg Popovich was very, very tough on him, as he is on all his point guards. Parker said he got some advice on how to deal with Popovich, and the advice was from Avery Johnson. And the two of them talked. They got together again and even discussed it more this summer. They had lunch in Paris. Of course, Parker from France. And he said the thing that Avery Johnson told him was, as long as you play hard, that's the key for Popovich. Show him that you have heart, and you'll be okay with him. And Parker certainly has done that.
A good job by Tony Parker searching for some answers, you know, going to somebody that played his position, that was in the same spot and played for the same man. The bottom line is, when you're talking about Popovich coaching you, you know that he cares about you, so he's only trying to make you better and make the team better.
Although Avery Johnson is Stackhouse lost it, Avery Johnson says, oh, come on, what does Tony Parker complain about? Says Popovich is a pussycat now compared to when I played for him. He was so tough on Avery Johnson, but he knew Johnson could take it. Those two very, very close friends. And Parker benefiting from the wisdom of Avery Johnson.
And the thing you learn from that is you can't be the same way with everybody on the floor. You have to treat different guys differently.
Nelson knocks down a shot. He's got a good jumper. And that will end the first half. Spurs end it with a 14-4 run of their own. So a little roller coaster ride. San Antonio went up big early, went up by 8. Josh Howard on the Mavs came back, went up by 7. And the Spurs finishing strong. Tony Parker, 13 points to lead San Antonio. He's with Michelle.
All right, thanks very much. Early in this game, you guys own the fast break statistics. They sort of reversed that trend. How did you end up coming up with the lead here at halftime?
We're just hanging there. You know, we had a good lead in the first quarter, and we lost it. You know, they went in transition, got a lot of easy baskets. So we need to play defense. We need to stop it in transition.
Well, you know, people were saying this game was kind of meaningless, that Dallas had nothing to play for. You guys have little to play for. How would you describe the intensity on the court?
That's good practice. Good practice. We're not going to play for a long time. You know, the last game of the season, we're not going to play for like 4 days. So we need to play that game seriously with a lot of intensity and see where we're at.
Are you surprised at all at Dallas's level of play right now?
No, not really. It's a good practice.
Enjoy the practice, Tony.
All right, Michelle, heck of a practice between two of the NBA's best coming up at the Half the T-Mobile show. Josh Howard's Fave 5 cars, plus Bulls and the Wizards recap. Big game for Chicago. And first half stats and analysis. Spurs by 3. The T-Mobile halftime show coming up right after these messages from Dallas. Welcome back to NBA Sunday, presented by Hertz. Halftime in Dallas, Texas. And two of the best in the NBA right now in a three-point game. It's the visiting team, the Spurs, with a three-point advantage. Take a look at the degree first half statistics. A lot of numbers very close.
Spurs getting to the foul line. Both teams shooting extremely well from the field. The bench points, both teams getting it done. The fast break points and the paint touches. Talk about the Spurs taking advantage, but catching up to the Mavericks.
Hello again, everyone. With Mark Jackson, Mike Breen with you. Michelle Tafoya will be with us shortly. This gets your appetite wet for the playoffs, which will start next Saturday for a game that's pretty much a meaningless game. What terrific intensity and high level of play.
It's a safe pick to say these two teams are going to be around for quite a while because of their style of play, and they are consistent as far as their energy and intensity.
And, of course, Dirk Nowitzki leading them for the match. Had a lot of help. Good balanced scoring, but he led them with 12.
Hey, what do? Here's a guy that's a pure shooter at 7. Sell the shot. The pump fake gets Elson in the air, and then it's just you in the rim, Dirk says. Knocks it down. Then the high release off the dribble. Tim Duncan, get to this shot. Stay down once again. Nowitzki with the shot. And then the face up, jab step. Too easy airspace. Nothing but net. Dirk Nowitzki, a complete player on the offensive end. And then today, just 12 points, 6 of 13 from the field. Across the board, the solid rebounding and the assist.
He also has 2 steals as we send it over to Michelle.
Well, remember before the game, Avery Johnson told us he wasn't going to play anyone more than 26 minutes. I asked him at halftime if he was going to stick to that rule of thumb, and he said somewhere around 26 minutes. He was disappointed that Devin George got in foul trouble early in the first, but that gives him more time to play Devin here in the second. What he's most concerned about, Mike and Mark, he said we weren't good in transition defense in the first quarter. We have to do a better job of that. And on offense, we just have to keep moving the ball around and not settle for jump shots, guys.
Yeah, I think, Michelle, if this game stays close and you expect it to stay that way, I think we're going to have a lot of guys play more than 26 minutes.
And I think it's good for both teams, especially Avery Johnson's team playing for nothing, but it's good experience because come down the stretch of the year, he's going to play bench guys, so he might as well finish up the proper way with a home run team in the Spurs.
Meanwhile, Terry misses the shot. Devin Harris starting the second half. George, who Michelle spoke of, had the 2 quick fouls. He started the game, but coming off the bench in the third. Duncan, nice soft banker for Duncan. And Duncan now in double figures with 11.
And here's what I love about the Spurs. It was almost a mirror image of the season. Here's a team that didn't rattle, didn't panic anything. Everything was going the Mavericks' way, settled down, and all of a sudden, they're up 5 when it looked like they were going to be blown out.
A little roller coaster ride in the first half. And again, San Antonio comes in with a 6-game winning streak. Pass forced in there. Duncan somehow able to get it back out to Parker.
The key to success of both of these teams, at any point they can get a good look offensively. San Antonio because of the presence of Duncan on the block, and then the Mavericks because of Dirk and the ball movement.
Elson couldn't finish it. Harris sprints down the floor, lefty layup. We've seen 4 of those plays. Devin Harris again exploding to the basket.
You sit back and you're amazed, and if you're a point guard like Jacque Vaughn or Tony Parker, you get upset at the other guys on the floor. You have to get back and give me some time to stop this Speedy Gonzalez guy.
Parker comes right back. Shot clock down to 7. And a foul on Jason Terry. A little over-aggressive. Terry and Bowen bump each other after the whistle, and they're going to be a technical foul on both of them, so double technicals. Right after the play, they bumped into each other, a little extra.
And Jason Terry upset with the no call. Bruce Bowen, little contact, little love fest. Both guys just Sunday afternoon fighting for some playoff positions as the Spurs, but you like that mentality of both guys, not giving up, not surrendering.
Again, it's important to stress this game doesn't matter.
But no, it was just both guys showing, hey, we care about the game.
And Duncan knocks that one in, and a foul. Again, with Bowen, he gets under opponent's skin. He's so tough, Ben. That's where it started, complaining about it, and then walks right into Bowen, who gives a little shove. And that's one of those that they both served. Those.
If you're Bruce Bowen and you watch Jason Terry block you from the shuffle cut off to this, you can't do anything but appreciate that because you say, hey, I would have did the same thing, my friend.
Now again, we keep saying meaningless. For Dallas, it doesn't mean anything. San Antonio's for the number 2 seed. It's unlikely. Phoenix just has to win one more game, and the Spurs have to win out. But they still have a chance at the number 2 seed. Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki once again finding the stroke. Nowitzki on Duncan. We've seen that a lot here this afternoon. Those two really had a great series when they played each other last year in the playoffs. Duncan yelling he wanted a foul.
Good job by Nowitzki staying down, contesting the shot of Duncan.
Nowitzki open for three. That's good. A little bit of everything from Dirk Nowitzki. And it's a one-point game.
Here's the catch. If you're Elson or you're Tim Duncan, who are guarding the 7-foot in the history of the game, you run back and touch the paint first, collapsing defensive block. You have to play Dirk Nowitzki at the three-point line. Give him too much space, he's wide open. He paid the price.
Tony Parker wide open. And he has been making pay the price last couple of years. Automatic that jumper. He's got 15.
He's able to get anywhere he won the whole situation. And that time's a shot at the foul line.
Terry hits the side of the backboard, knocked loose. And they'll keep it the same way. Jay Dallas ball. All of them for the screens being set a little harder. Some of the ball denial a little tougher.
You're beginning, hey, I'm on the floor. I know if you're the Mavericks, you're thinking this game doesn't mean anything, but I'm on the floor here to work. I might as well get it done.
A little contact on that as well. Nowitzki misses a shot.
And if you're a player, quite honestly, you'd much rather play a game than practice. It's much more fun and it's easier on the body than the demands of a daily practice.
Well, that's what Tony Parker told Michelle DeFoy at halftime. Hey, this is a good practice.
I know somewhere Allen Iverson is saying practice.
Harris this time from outside. Devin Harris with 13 points. He's 6 of 8 from the field.
And if he is knocking down that jump shot, you can forget about it. Similar to Leandro Barbosa of the Phoenix Suns. You have to contain him, and when he's knocking down the jumper, you have your hands full trying to guard.
Key for Harris is he's taken the three-pointer out of his game. He's doing a lot, but now just, and there's a travel. Parker easily took that extra step. And that's the 6th turnover for San Antonio. Same number for Dallas. But that's where Harris, he took a lot of threes. Avery Johnson has had this team take less threes over the past couple of years. They get better shots. They take the ball to the basket more and have been a much more efficient offensive team because of it. Howard foul, and he'll shoot 2.
But you watch Harris on the floor, and his mindset should be there's nothing that Tony Parker does that I can't do. So his goal should be he wants to be an all-star. He wants to be a star in this league. He has the total package and the ability to do just that.
Again, he was not highly recruited out of high school in Milwaukee. Harris wound up going to Wisconsin, and he left early. Wisconsin, early entry candidate. In fact, second-guessed himself his rookie year. Rookie year was not an easy thing for Devin Harris. Took some criticism from Nowitzki. But then he said Nowitzki helped him, and another key player that helped him his rookie year was Michael Finley. Finley, who was then with the Mavericks and now obviously with San Antonio. Finley's one of those guys that has helped a lot of people.
His resume looks awfully impressive when you talk about the impact that he has had on.
Finley now starting recently since Brent Barry hurt his back. Finley started, and Greg Popovich has kept him in the starting lineup. Duncan, here comes the double team. Parker with 4 on the shot clock. Again, Tony Parker. Nice touch.
Good job of spacing off of the double team. Continuing to do a great job of reading the defense and finding the open guy.
And the lead exchanging hands. Howard. Being fortunate Harris was there. Shot clock winding down. Has the jumper. Terry and Bowen again getting mixed up a little bit. The floater. Oh, beautiful shot from Tony Parker. On period. 6 of his 19 here in the third.
And it's an inside-outside attack. Take a look at the way that Tim Duncan catches the best. Patient, reads the defense, and makes the proper play. Finding Parker on the perimeter and allowing Parker to make a play off of the pass.
Elson. Good defense. One of the reasons Cisco Elson was to help. He's got a little more athleticism to guard a big man like Nowitzki.
A lot of times, coaches around this league say, "Guy can't do." Elson certainly has limitations, but he completes them as a basketball team. Takes pressure off of Tim Duncan on the defensive end and can knock down the shot on the offense.
Howard, terrific defensive play. Josh Howard bringing it up the floor. Terry wisely says, "Let's reset." Josh Howard, one of the better two-way players in the league. Such a talented defensive player. Howard draws, offensive foul. They wave it off. A little bit of a hook. Use the hook to get around the defender. And Howard called for his first personal.
Josh Howard upset with the call. This is a mismatch. Tony Parker guarding him on the block. Josh Howard said, "There's no sense in me hooking him. He's too small and I'm too tall."
That's a big TV.
That's nice. I want one of those in my house.
NBA Sunday presented by Hertz on ABC. Brought to you by Ovia. Knowing the score. Made by Ovia.
Back in Dallas, Tim Duncan and the Spurs right now with a 3-point lead. Duncan again, he's 100% this year. He said it's a blast playing injury-free, and he's had a terrific season once again.
The guy is an absolute scientist on the block. The jab set, it's the space. You want to have a guy defending you, get him off of you, knock down the shot. A rhythm shot. Stare down, recognize how you're being played. Once again, the use of the jab step, knocking down another bank shot. Not a replay. The bank is open. I know it's Sunday, but for Tim Duncan, Mike, the bank is open.
And Duncan this year, 5th in the NBA in block shots, 7th in rebounds, 9th in field goal percentage. Stackhouse back in. Good ball denial from Howard. Ginobili trying to get open. Ginobili moves so well without the ball. Elson. Well, short and dropped the rebound.
A good adjustment by Avery Johnson coming out of the timeout. No longer allowing Tim Duncan to play one-on-one on the block. That time double teaming and forcing Elson to shoot jumper.
A nice ball fake. Shot won't go down. And Ginobili the rebound. We talk about players who were hurt last year. Ginobili was banged up a lot last year. This year he's healthy, and he is playing so well. Explodes as Jock throws it away. His 3rd block of the game.
And the advantage of the Dallas Mavericks having a legit big guy that can change shots. Jock staying active, zoning the area because Elson's not a threat offensively, and then contesting the shot and sending it out of bounds of Ginobili.
And a blocking foul call on Josh Howard. Crowd doesn't like it. That's important with the blocks against, especially against San Antonio with Ginobili and Parker and their ability to penetrate.
Well, put so much pressure on the defense. This guy's the Earl Campbell of basketball. Former great football player for the Houston Oilers, loved contact, and Ginobili is very similar as a basketball player.
I get the feeling you were a big Earl Campbell fan.
I'm a big sports fan, man.
Don't you yell at me. Ginobili kicks it out to Bowen. Bowen misfires. Jock keeps it alive. Campbell had the biggest legs of any player I ever remember.
So you like football also?
Big time.
Hang me out to dry, but I feel the same way.
Terry on the drive. Trying to draw some contact. Won't go. Duncan, another rebound, his 7th. Duncan had one of those all-around games. He has 5 assists and 14 points. Elson, nice pass.
And just picture perfect, fundamentally sound basketball by Duncan. First trying to seal opposite side. He's fronted, does not fight the front, gives a target, seals the body, and then finishes at the rim. That's what you want from your big guy. Read the defense and then make them pay.
And they're back up by 5. Stackhouse, Ginobili defends him well. Stackhouse doesn't care.
Stackhouse so good, made a history, a career out of being a scoring guy from the perimeter and also on the block. That time, getting to a sweet spot and shooting over Ginobili.
So he's in double figures off the bench. Duncan tells Ginobili to go through. Parker left wide open. And Parker nails it again. 8 points in the period.
It's a complete team on the offensive end. That time, the Dallas Mavericks late on the rotation. Jason Terry does the double team. His man gets the basketball in Parker, but Josh Howard has to chase him up the spot. Does not, and Parker knocks down the shot.
Ball deflected. Good defense from Ginobili. Parker calls out the play.
Look how many times Tim Duncan has touched the basketball since the Spurs have turned this basketball game around. He is the guy that they are running their offense through.
He's become so good at passing out of the double teams. Offensive foul. He used the hook. He's got that look of disbelief that you occasionally see from Duncan. Greg Popovich doesn't agree. Duncan picks up his first. And we'll take a break. He doesn't want to hear it. Back in Dallas, Texas, the American Airlines Center. Capacity crowd. Near the end of the third quarter, time for our U.S. Marines game track.
And Dirk Nowitzki, aggressive, so much pressure on the defense, knocking down shots, being a force for the Mavericks. The key points off of turnovers. The Dallas Mavericks, 13 big ones, fast break opportunities because of the Spurs turnovers. And then, mama, there goes that man, Tim Duncan, taking over this basketball game, playing point center, scoring and making plays.
Mama, there goes that man. Josh Howard knocks it down. Nowitzki has just been so unbelievable, and of course the MVP candidate. Steve Nash is the other MVP candidate, has said that Nowitzki's his choice, and you know who just the other day also said that Nowitzki was his MVP was Dwayne Wade. They lost a turnover. Terry down the other end, stripped and fouled by Ginobili, and they're going to call it a two-shot foul. Of course, that made it interesting with the Wade situation. Early in the year, he had criticized or made comments about the reason Dallas didn't win the finals was because Nowitzki didn't lift his team up. Nowitzki handled the comments very, very well, as he always does. He's a class act, and has just put together a fabulous season. But a lot of people lining up to say that man is the MVP of the NBA.
It really shows how Dwayne Wade is a true professional. Not going to allow that to get in the way of him showing some love. Dirk deserves it. Why not acknowledge it?
But then the previous comment was tough love there.
Good old-fashioned basketball.
Nowitzki will get a breather. Now, Nowitzki has played his 28 minutes. Let's see if he comes back in the game. Again, Avery Johnson has, he won't say give his players a rest down the stretch. He says he wants to give them a pause. There he misses the.
Well, you see going into the timeout, Joey said enough from Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan says the ball does not lie. That's why the foul shot was missed. Joey Crawford sending a message saying, hey, I'm not going to get into the debate all afternoon long.
Duncan's laughing. Joe Crawford's not laughing. This is also, you know, you talk about getting ready for the playoffs. For a lot of the referees, they haven't found out their playoff assignments. Some of them perhaps going for the first time. Oh, Ginobili. A nice floater. Of course, Duncan's laughing despite each technical is a $500 fine. But it goes to charity, all the NBA technical money. So there is a positive.
Hey, the NBA cares.
Terry, a long three. Won't go. Ginobili the rebound. 4-point San Antonio lead. We're under 2 minutes left here in the third. Ginobili. And a foul on Devin George. Alberto says, why did I do that for nothing? Unless they pick him up. Let's go over to Michelle.
Well, you guys were talking about how these games are preparing everyone for the playoffs. Greg Popovich is even using timeouts to talk about situational things and preparing for the playoffs. Last timeout, he said, hey, we need to get the ball up the court quicker when they make a basket. We're a little too slow bringing it up. We got to get the ball in play and move it. We're going to want to do that come playoff time. So it's interesting to hear these coaches even using these regular season games as preparation.
Absolutely, Michelle. Jacques Vaughn. Shot won't go. Alberto with the nice tip in. Popovich's third best winning percentage in NBA history, as they call it delay of game warning after the ball went through the basket. And Harris will bring it the other way. Harris again to the basket. Howard now drives inside right over Alberto, and a blocking foul. Joey Crawford saying Alberto moving. Now Crawford's going over to talk about it with Popovich. Again, a lot of it has to do with if you're showing up the referee. Duncan's telling Michelle Tafoya, I think, I didn't say anything, but if he's sitting there laughing, then that Crawford feels like he's showing him up.
Well, at the same time, you're sitting there laughing. You have to understand, he already has one technical foul. Not the correct play if all he did was sit on the sideline and laugh. Tim Duncan means too much to his basketball team. Not saying a word sitting there. Joey Crawford cannot read body language and automatically sit with a technical foul and send Tim Duncan out. He can be laughing at anything.
See, now Crawford made that last call, and that was Duncan laughing at the last call, the one on Alberto, and he just felt that he was showing him up. For many years, he's been one of the tops, but sometimes maybe in an instance like that, you just don't look over there, look away. Let's go over to Michelle.
Well, I talked to Tim Duncan on his way off the floor. I said, did you say a word? And he said, no. I said, honestly, Tim, did you say anything? No, he adamantly said. And he had some choice language for Joey Crawford as he left the floor, guys.
Well, again, this year, on a hard foul. It's going to be an offensive foul on Alberto. He set a sharp screen, sending Howard to the floor. Alberto trying to argue, but not going to say too much. Let's watch. That's a tough call, boy. Howard looked like he just went flying into Alberto.
Well, Alberto, you're saying, hey, I'm setting screens and I'm the one taking a beating and the call is made against me. That's just a solid screen. Howard does a job trying to fight through the screen. No question about it. That's a foul on Howard.
Now, Alberto, when the contact is made, extends his arms, which is what Sean Corbin called. Howard initiated that contact, almost forced him to do that.
Well, he's really trying to protect himself in that situation, seeing Howard come full steam ahead. Certainly the call should have been on Howard.
Now, again, we got to remember, and this is with the Duncan situation, as Harris misses the first free throw. This year, the NBA, really a point of emphasis was the player complaints and decorum. They had the lower tolerance policy earlier where there were a lot of technicals called. And you can get a technical, not necessarily for just profanity or constantly arguing, but what officials think is called overt action or demonstrative reaction. And again, Crawford probably thought that he was mocking him by laughing at him. Ginobili misfires. But in an instant like that, I agree with you, Mark, especially after he's already picked up one technical. You just kind of have to look away and forget about it.
Well, it'd be hard to sell to me that the definition of what you just explained, what Tim Duncan did, fits into that category. Bad second technical, bad ejection for Duncan for just laughing.
Vaughn on the drive. Ginobili inside, lays it in. Yeah, I agree. So the Spurs will have to go the rest of the way without their leader. Stackhouse gets it off in time. Shot won't go. And that will end the third quarter. A little feisty. That's just between opponents, the players and refs, the coaches and refs. Greg Popovich now calmly talking to Joe Crawford, trying to get more of an explanation. Third quarter complete here in Dallas. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. Welcome back to NBA Sunday, presented by Hertz. We're set to start the fourth quarter from American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, as the regular season winds down. Two of the NBA's best. Right now, the Spurs with a 4-point lead. Third quarter got a little testy. Tim Duncan was called for an offensive foul on that slight push-off. Not a lot there. And then Duncan came out of the game. He was sitting on the bench and apparently said something to Joe Crawford, who gave him a technical foul while Duncan was sitting there. Duncan then was laughing at another call that Crawford called against San Antonio. And Joe Crawford, feeling that Duncan was showing him up and mocking him by laughing him, gave him his second technical, which is an automatic ejection. And Duncan gone for the afternoon. Barry to Alberto. Vaughn gets inside. Nice lefty layup. Can't finish, though, as Jacques' presence altering the shot.
Once again, Jacques coming over with the help defense a little late, but he changed the shot of Jacques Vaughn.
Here's Harris. Harris had just a tremendous first half. Devin George, offensive foul, lower the shoulder. And Alberto, with a little acting, picks up the charge.
Devin George, no question about it, could have went up explosively to the rim, choose to use a little bit of the body, and got caught and called with the offensive foul.
You heard Michelle Tafoya talk about Avery Johnson was disappointed that George got in foul trouble. It's because George missed a lot of games with a knee injury, and they really think he's going to be a big part of their playoff push and a push for championship. And they want to get him just in sync, playing minutes, getting a feel of him being in and out of the lineup with that knee problem. Finley, a contested shot. How many jumpers did he hit here in the other uniform?
And the good thing if you're Michael Finley, early in the season when he was struggling, Greg Popovich pulled him aside and said, I want you to shoot. Wait until I tell you it was a bad shot. But when you have a good look, I want you to unload. You are an offensive guy, and he certainly has picked it up since then.
It's his second year with the Spurs. As Stackhouse picks it up again. Larry Stackhouse, 13 points in 20 minutes. Vaughn. Again, got good help defense. Ginobili. Crossover right at John. Oh, tough shot from Ginobili.
So good at isolation or pick and roll situations where he can create his own look off balance, Lena off the glass with Jock coming, but Ginobili just too good.
Ginobili had that game earlier this season. He scored 24 consecutive points. Barry knocks it out of Jock's hands. He gets it back. Harris for three. It's good. Evan Harris doesn't take many threes, but knocks that one down. And the Mavs back within three.
Jock chases down a loose ball, and because Jock Vaughn is underneath trying to get the loose ball with him, finds the open man Harris, knocking down the three.
Good ball denial from George. Vaughn. And they call an offensive foul on Jock Vaughn. Third foul on Vaughn. Counting with Leroy Richardson. Mavs get it back.
And you can't say enough about both of these teams. Really playing for nothing, but battling and competing. Devin Harris willing to sacrifice his body, gets in front of Jock Vaughn, picks up the charge. This is how you're supposed to finish out a season.
Now, would they be playing this way if it was another opponent, or because this is maybe the best rivalry in the league?
I think it's a combination. Because Avery Johnson is the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, they have every reason to say, hey, the season is over, but he's not going to allow it. This is a team that has not won a championship. They are going to finish this thing out the right way.
Ginobili just makes a nice defensive play, and then Stackhouse with a loose ball foul. So two on Stackhouse. First team foul. Of course, for Dallas, the best thing for them with a home court advantage throughout the playoffs, it means they'll only have to play either San Antonio or Phoenix if it comes to that. They won't have to play both.
And I think that's the best situation. They've earned the right to only go through one of them.
Finley the foul. And Harris will go to the line. And that would be huge because if San Antonio and Phoenix faces each other in the conference semifinals, that's the type of series can take so much out of you. Not that Dallas would have an easy time with whoever their second round matchup is. But we're watching today's game. We just can't wait for the playoffs to start.
I think they should just start tomorrow.
There's a few spots still to be determined as Harris hits the first. We remind you, speaking of tomorrow, it's not the playoffs. It's Minnesota and Denver on NBA TV. And then ABC and ESPN, our playoff coverage will begin next Saturday. And TNT playoff coverage begins this Sunday. The NBA playoffs and so many great matchups as Nowitzki re-enters. Last year's playoff was so many terrific series, close games, buzzer beaters, overtimes.
Really, last year was some of the best battles as far as playoffs that I've seen in a long time.
Buckner fights over the screen, but fights a little too hard and picks up his first personal.
That's the problem defending Ginobili. He creates contact. You have no choice but to try to put a body on him, and that's when he's at his best.
It's actually Buckner's third, my mistake. And the second team foul on Dallas. The PA announcer just said it should be a lot louder in here. Jock Vaughn, a jumper, in and out. And George the rebound.
Well, where else will the PA announcers chastise the fans?
Harris on the drive, stripped by Vaughn, but still Dallas ball. Yeah, we'll have a timeout. Young Devin Harris has been superb, but his team still down by 1. Just over 3 minutes gone by. Fourth quarter from Dallas. Both teams with sights of an NBA championship. Just over 3 minutes gone by, fourth quarter here in Dallas. Here on ABC, home of the NBA Finals. Two teams that feel they'll be in the NBA Finals this year. Right now, San Antonio leading Dallas by 1. Let's go back with Mark Jackson's regular season awards.
Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Camby, the guy that anchored the defense for the Denver Nuggets and the reason why they will have postseason play. How about Rookie of the Year? Brandon Roy from the Portland Trailblazers. Future so bright, a stud. Heck of a steal for the Portland Trailblazers, and this guy certainly deserving of the Rookie of the Year. Coach of the Year, Avery Johnson. When you finish the type of season that they had last year, they had every right to collapse. He has kept his team hungry, and they are the best team in basketball. Avery Johnson, Coach of the Year.
It'll be back-to-back if that's the case for Avery Johnson. And of course, he'll learn so much of his coaching, and especially discipline from Greg Popovich when he played for him 3 different occasions in San Antonio during his career. Nowitzki lost it. Here comes Finley. Stackhouse in pursuit. Nice defense from Stackhouse without committing a foul. I think Finley thought there was going to be more contact and just kind of flipped it up in the basket. He's not happy with himself.
Good job by Jerry Stackhouse not surrendering anything. Getting back on the defensive end, looking to contest. No hard foul, just looking to battle. Finley flips it up. That's what you want, not surrendering anything, and it starts with the coach.
And that's why, again, you look at this for Dallas. They've got the #1 seed all sewn up, yet they're still playing with this kind of passion here this afternoon.
And the thing that you like about it is Avery Johnson has played a bunch of guys from the bench, but that whole attitude goes throughout the entire team.
Parker can't hit. Parker the rebound. Here comes Terry. Extra pass, Stackhouse for 3. Parker. Tony Parker to the rim, puts it in. Tough shot from Parker, who has 23.
And here's what I love about the Spurs, the ability to change as far as the team is concerned. When Duncan is on the floor, it's an inside-outside attack. When he's not on the floor, it's Ginobili and Parker making plays via isolation or pick and roll.
Terry won't go. Brent Barry the rebound. They really are playing this game like it's a playoff game with the intensity. And Avery Johnson said he was going to play guys, hope not more than 26 minutes. Well, 5 guys have played more than 26 minutes. Barry. You're just tuning in. Tim Duncan, meanwhile, is done for the afternoon. Duncan received them both while he was out of the game, sitting on the Spurs bench. Joe Crawford ejecting him. Terry kicks it out. Nice ball fake from Buckner.
Penetration by Terry, finding Buckner and not settling with the three-pointer, but taking the extra dribble and getting a rhythm shot in the paint.
Chance of defense, which was unheard of years ago here in Dallas, and now they're one of the better defensive teams. Finley, oh, tough shot from Finley.
Michael Finley continuing to get it done this late in his career. He looks like he did 5 years ago, coming off explosive to downstream and a nice jump shot contested by Stackhouse.
Finley now 34 years old, his 12th year in the league, 8.5 of the Dallas. Now a member of the Spurs. Terry's shot won't go. Alberto the rebound as we approach the midway point here of the 4th. Finley, another tough shot, and George hauls it in. And Dallas calls timeout as we just pass the midway point of the 4th. These two teams met in the conference semifinals last year. Dallas won it in 7 games in a thrilling series. Perhaps they'll meet again in this year's postseason.
Hi, I'm David Arquette, and you're watching the NBA on ABC.
Home of the NBA Finals.
NBA Sunday on ABC, presented by Hertz. Discover the many reasons why we're Hertz and they're not. And Chevy, an American revolution.
Midway point, fourth quarter in Dallas. Another sellout crowd. Time for the game summary. Neither team has had a double-figure lead. Largest lead in the second half was only 6. Tim Duncan, strong game but ejected. Tony Parker's played well. Nowitzki obviously as well. As this is really NBA basketball at its best. High level of play, great teamwork at both ends of the floor. Some superb individual plays. These two teams are fun to watch, Mark.
And what you love is the intensity on both ends of the floor. Just a good old-fashioned rivalry where they appreciate one another, but they're not surrendering anything at all.
Nowitzki. Nelson right up on him. Shot clock winding down. And a foul before the shot. Only the second team foul on the Spurs, so the Mavs will inbound. 3 on Nelson.
You get the sense that Avery Johnson called that timeout because Dirk Nowitzki was fading away from the game. They stopped going to him. Out of the timeout, they find Nowitzki with the basketball, and they have to do that to close out this game.
Nowitzki 5 on the shot clock. Parker guarding him. Here's the mismatch. Kicks it out. Terry for 3. Won't go. And Alberto will rebound. With Duncan out, Alberto and Elson playing at the same time.
That's just good basketball by Nowitzki. It's not about him taking the shots, but it's about him making plays.
An 8-second violation. They took their time going up the floor. Of course, that was a rule change a couple of years ago. You have to get across half court in 8 seconds, and they just were a little too lackadaisical.
If you're Greg Popovich, you're not pleased with this at all because Tony Parker being a point guard in this league and a veteran, you have to recognize how much time is on the clock and push the ball up the floor.
Both teams you see with 11 turnovers. Bowen back in. Good ball denial on Harris. Boy, Bruce Bowen, it's amazing. He's 35 years old, going to be 36 in June, and still maybe the best perimeter defender in the NBA.
Well, not maybe. He is the best perimeter player in the NBA. When you talk about needing to lock a guy down, he knows his job and he gets it done.
Alberto, meanwhile, nice play. Deflects it. Parker looking. Tries a couple of screens. Now Elson can shoot it. He's got a nice touch.
Look that bad, man.
The years are from the fans. Francisco Elston, native of the Netherlands, who played his first 3 years in the NBA with Denver, but that was after 4 years overseas in Spain. They signed him to a free agent deal. Played his college ball at Cal. One of the best teams in the league is Josh Howard fouled by Bowen.
It probably would have been better if you would have said, hey, Elson's jump shot normally don't even hit net.
7th Dutch player to play in the NBA. And again, he went overseas. He was a second-round pick of Denver, but didn't play for him. Went overseas for 4 years and honed his skills in Spain. Came back and played with the Nuggets. And they really like him. Because of his athleticism. As Howard misses, get your fantasy fix through NBA playoffs. Log on to NBA.com. Play Drive to the Finals. Presented by Autotrader.com. Chance to $1,000 toward the purchase of a car. It's fun, it's easy, it's free, and it's only on NBA.com.
Elson speaks 5 languages, 5 different languages.
Yeah.
Has me beat by 4.
4.5. Parker will bring it up. With 4.5 remaining here in the 4th. 2-point game. San Antonio in front. It has been an entertaining game as we wind down the regular season. Playoffs start next weekend. Parker throws it. Elson, nice save. There's still time on the shot clock. What a pass. Ginobili's fouled. Boy, they take a broken play and will get 2 free throws out of it. First Elson with the hustle, and then Alberto with a terrific pass.
That's getting it done by role players. Elson chasing down the loose basketball, keeping it alive, and then Ginobili putting his head down, attacking the basket, creating the contact.
Alberto, he always knows where Ginobili is. They're teammates on the national team for Argentina that won the gold medal in 2004. As Ginobili knocks down the first free throw.
And the tough thing having Elson and Alberto on the floor together, it allows the Dallas Mavericks to zone the area. Now they are defending Ginobili and Parker with 2 or 3 big guys because they are not afraid of the outside touch of Alberto or Elson.
Ginobili 16 points, just under his average 4-point game. Harris, good drive, can't get it to fall. Elson rips down the rebound. With some high elbows out of that rebound. Howard on Ginobili. Pass to Elson, and a foul on the entry pass. It's going to go against Nowitzki. That's his 3rd. And the Mavs with their 14th foul.
And a good read by Ginobili and Elson. Nowitzki looking to jump the pick and roll. Elson recognizes it, slips to the basket. Ginobili with the delivery.
Ginobili's got some scratch on his left shoulder. Cross court to Parker. Parker with 3 on the shot clock. Over Nowitzki. Won't go, and hits the shot clock as Elson and Jop get tangled up underneath the basket.
Just battling for the offensive board. Elson, Jop, what you want, puts a hip on. I'm not settling for that, but just good old-fashioned battling. Nothing dirty, just good old-fashioned basketball, and that's good to see.
That's what these 2 teams do best, especially when they face each other. Nowitzki puts it in. Dirk Nowitzki with 19, and it's cut to 2.
Nothing you can do. A 7-footer putting the ball on the floor and shooting a fadeaway jump shot. No one can contest that. And the Mavericks automatically go to the zone.
Parker, Ginobili. Ginobili tied up, double team. Shot clock down to 3. Parker, tough shot, way off. And it didn't hit the rim, so a 24-second violation.
And a good job by going to the zone. It eliminates the penetration of the Spurs, and you can close out the shooters. The only guys you're concerned with is Parker, Ginobili, and Bowen spotted up in the corner. How can you defend this? The jab step, the airspace, and then the fadeaway. Elson is not even in the picture. What a pretty shot.
Just under 3 minutes remaining. 4th quarter in Dallas, and the Spurs clinging to a 2-point lead. A reminder coming up on ESPN at 6 Eastern, Sports Center. Of course, we'll have some important NBA games today in terms of the playoff seeding and playoff picture. That's coming up at 6 Eastern on ESPN. And tonight on ABC at 7, 6 Central, brand new hour of America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by Extreme Makeover Home Edition, then an all-new hour with Desperate Housewives, followed by an episode of Brothers and Sisters. End your weekend right. ABC all tonight. And this crowd has been into it right from the get-go. The 234th consecutive sellout for the Mavericks.
You take a look at the Spurs, put in Bruce Bowen on Dirk Nowitzki defensively because he's small enough to keep a body on him and then long enough to contest the jump.
He's played him before and played him well. Nowitzki, nice pass to Buckner, block. Oh, that was close to a goaltend. In fact, that looked like it was. But they're just going to inbound with 3 on the shot clock.
That clearly looked like a goaltender. You're talking about getting rid of the basketball. This ball is on its way down. That's a missed call. That should be a basket for the Dallas Mavericks. Give Elson credit. His job is to clog up the middle, and he did just that.
Instead, they'll take it out of bounds. 3 on the shot clock when we return. They're down 2, the Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks down by 2 with 2.5 remaining here in the 4th quarter. It has been a terrific basketball game. And Dallas now with 3 on the shot clock will inbound. And San Antonio trying to hold on without Tim Duncan.
Well, with the weapons they have on the basketball floor, 3 seconds is plenty of time to get a good look.
Harris got a good look. Wouldn't go down, and Ginobili the rebound. This one has been close throughout. Again, the largest lead in the second half is 6. San Antonio had that. They've led most of the second half. Ginobili. Michael Finley won't go. And Nowitzki with the rebound. Here's Howard. 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes. What the Spurs love to do, get the ball in Nowitzki at the top of the key, and he is good at taking advantage of small defenders.
Ginobili stayed with him well, and Nowitzki's shot wouldn't go down.
And Popovich automatically looking at Tony Parker saying, push the ball up the floor, put pressure on the defense.
Parker back out. Ginobili pulls back, hand in his face. And Saganajak, who's played very well. He's got 10 boards and 3 block shots.
Not a good shot by Ginobili. You have Nowitzki guarding you on the perimeter. You have to force the issue and take advantage of the mismatch.
Now it's Bowen on Nowitzki. Double team. Shot clock winding down. Buckner puts it up. Way short. Nowitzki the rebound. Back up. It's good. And the game is tied with 1:15 remaining. Timeout, San Antonio. 1:15 remaining, fourth quarter, in what has been an entertaining game as the Spurs and Mavericks all tied up at 86. And as we wind down, it's time for the big moment. Mark Jackson's MVP award for the regular season.
Well, no secret. Dirk Nowitzki, no question about it, was a 2-horse race with Steve Nash. But when you are the best player on the best team in basketball, they have gotten it done and ran through this entire league. Dirk Nowitzki, the MVP this year.
He's come in third in the MVP voting each of the last 2 seasons. And this year has just been spectacular once again. And he's been so motivated by losing in the finals last year. He talked so often about how much pain he felt during the summer and continues to think about the loss to the Heat. Right now, he's thinking about trying to beat the Spurs. Buckner, excellent defense all over Ginobili. Shot clock at 5. Ginobili, nice. Oh, stolen! Howard knocked it away. Here comes Buckner. Buckner up for the layup. And the Mavericks with their first lead of the fourth quarter. Another big defensive play.
We talk about the Mavericks having 2 stoppers in Buckner and George on the floor, along with Howard and Harris. They get it done on the defensive end.
Parker out. Bowen for 3. In and out. George the rebound. Well, they don't have to foul, but Ginobili does. And they'll send the Mavericks. No, that's not. They have 1 foul to give. So actually it was a smart foul that time because they needed to make sure that if they have that position to foul.
Oh, this is just solid defense. Good job of contesting and converging, closing the area for Ginobili coming up with the steal and Buckner finishing in traffic. Easy transition layup.
Stackhouse. Now, they don't necessarily have to foul, but it only gives them about 2 seconds when they get the ball back. What should they do, Mark?
Well, the problem is if you're not going to foul now, you shouldn't have fouled a couple of seconds ago. So now you put your defense at the heels of the Mavericks.
And there's the foul. Stackhouse on his move to the basket. Now, that initial foul, Ginobili was smart because they had a foul to give. They had to put themselves in a position where the next one would be in the bonus.
Well, really not smart because you had plenty of time to just get a stop and get the basketball back. The thing you're going to do is if you're going to foul in the first place, you foul immediately the second time. You had plenty of time, if Ginobili doesn't foul initially, to look to get a stop and get the basketball back.
Wow, Stackhouse misses a free throw. Now there's 10.8 seconds remaining. If they would have let it run out, there would have been just slightly over 2 seconds. It's tough, but they have a timeout left to advance the ball.
Well, the good thing for them is Stackhouse misses the shot, and now they have plenty of time to set up for either a 3 or a 2 to tie the basketball game.
And Jerry's hanging on the rim, and that makes it a 3-point game with 10.8 left. And a 20-second timeout. Now, San Antonio, with the timeout, will advance the ball to the front court. All right, Mark, let's San Antonio their strategy. Do they have to go for the three or a quick two do it for them?
Well, I think you go for the best shot available. What you want to do is put the ball in either Parker or Ginobili's hands, try to get the defense to collapse and find the shooter on the floor. If a three presents itself, that is what you want. But the first thing you want to do is get a quick shot.
A key for San Antonio is they could go that route because they still have a timeout remaining. Obviously, if they went for the two and pulled within one, then they could call the timeout, foul quickly, and be able to advance the ball.
And if you're the Mavericks, you say, okay, do you foul? Do you not give up the three-pointer? And the answer is you have to close out the shooters. There's too much time to look to foul right now.
All right, how about Dallas's strategy? If San Antonio decides to go for a good three-pointer, do they foul?
Well, they foul once the clock is dwindling down. The important thing for the Mavericks, they have perimeter guys on the floor other than Dirk Nowitzki. They can switch everything.
There you see Golden State winning to tie the Lakers. San Antonio still perhaps trying to get that second seed. So this game has some importance for the Spurs unless Phoenix wins out. Finley. Parker. Looks like they're going to go for the three. Barry fires it up. Air ball. And Devin Harris is fouled with 3.2 remaining. And the Mavericks can put this one away with some free throws.
Really was too much time on the clock to foul immediately. Avery Johnson showing tremendous faith in his defense and his perimeter guys' ability to jump out in pick-and-roll situations. Barry forced to shoot an off-balance runner, and they close out a perfect defensive trip by gang rebounding, securing the basketball.
The Spurs missed their last 8 shots from the field, haven't scored in over 4 minutes as Dallas has come back, and Harris can secure it. That makes it a 4-point game with 3.2 remaining.
Mike, didn't Avery Johnson tell us that his stars were only going to play 26 minutes? You're better than that, Avery.
Well, he said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys played more than 26, and they played well. Greg Popovich says, let's just inbound it. Didn't want to call timeout. And that will do it. The Mavericks, with their 66th win of the season, are now tied for the 10th best record in NBA history. And a very impressive come-from-behind win as they defeat their rival Spurs 91-86. So for Mark Jackson, Michelle Tafoya, and our entire crew, a reminder, NBA Wednesday on ESPN this week features a doubleheader. Coverage begins at 7:30. Now except on the West Coast. Stay tuned for ABC's World News or your local news over most of these ABC stations. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Thanks for watching ABC, home of the NBA Finals. See you next week in the playoffs.